What's up, people? In this video, somebody wanted me to do this girl, Gypsy Rose, the act Christina Randall. Why I went to prison. Is this girl Gypsy Rose? Christina Randall? She's kind of hot. Doesn't look like she's been, neck tattoo. I don't really know. Self-love. Solitary confinement. Oh my god. Well, okay, another prisoner YouTuber. Interesting. Okay, cool. I like prisoner YouTubers. Never done a female one though. Should be interesting, I guess. Okay. You guys have any other recommendations? Let me know. Whoops.
Back to the regular world with that same mentality she's got. I mean, she's been learning to lie and manipulate her whole entire life for 23 years before she ended up going to prison. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance on hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know. Y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everyone's having a great week. So today we are going to be talking about the Gypsy Rose case. You guys have been recommending this to me for months now and telling me to watch the act and and I just haven't done it. Well, last weekend, me and my husband went down the rabbit hole of watching the act. We literally could not stop. Anybody that knows me knows I'm Grandma Christina. Most of the time I'm in bed by like 8 or 9 o'clock, but me and him was up until like 4 a.m. watching this thing. It was so good. If you guys have not watched the act, it is on Hulu. You can watch it there, or if you have Amazon Fire Stick, like we do, you can watch it there. So for everybody that does not know the story, I'm just going to give you a rundown real quick, telling you guys about the case, and then we're going to talk about some details of things, the way I feel about this whole situation. So let's just get into that part first. Okay, so Gypsy Rose was a young girl who was born by her mother named Dee Dee Blanchard. Gypsy Rose is actually her first name. I was always thinking that it was Gypsy Rose, like maybe Rose was her middle name, but her name is Gypsy Rose. She has a middle name and last name is Blanchard. Her mother Dee Dee has Munchausen syndrome by proxy, which is actually like a mental disorder where she basically kept her daughter sick. Constantly was telling her daughter there was something wrong with her, telling the doctors there was something wrong with her, and believing herself that there was something wrong with her daughter. I mean, as far as we know. We don't really know what was going on in her brain. Now, so it was just basically Dee Dee, the mom, and her daughter Gypsy Rose. There was no father that was involved, so she could do whatever she wanted to do with her daughter. Her mother had her daughter Gypsy Rose in a wheelchair. She had a feeding tube in. She was on all different types of medication, including seizure medication. I mean, she had her daughter, this little girl Gypsy Rose, bleeding. She was all kinds of sick. Later, we found out when she was an adult that she actually didn't have any of these diseases or disorders or anything like that. She didn't need to be in a wheelchair. She didn't need a feeding tube. She didn't need epilepsy medication. She didn't have seizures. Like.
So like I wonder, you know, and again, I love the human race. I love everybody. We're all beautiful people. Let people live their lives, blah, blah, blah. But like, who would want to watch a movie about that? It's so depressing, you know? I don't know, whatever. What I was gonna say, and maybe this is sexist for me to say, but like, I feel like this type of content appeals more to women than it does to men. Like, men viewers out there, like, question for you, and feel free to disagree with me if you want. Like, I'm not fishing here. Honestly asking, like, would you want to watch a movie? Would it be like among your top 5 choices to watch a movie about this, about a woman who like kept her daughter sick for years? I don't know where this is going. Maybe her daughter like turns into like a super mutant cyborg, and like it actually like turns into a cool movie. But it doesn't sound like that's where this is going. So like clear distinction between the type of content women find interesting and the type of content men find interesting, which is to be expected, I guess. Like we're different people. You know, obviously we're gonna like different things, different biology, blah blah blah. But yeah. Anyway, she's hot, I guess.
Could you imagine? And the crazy thing about it is, Gypsy Rose didn't know any better. I mean, when it's your mom telling you this, and doctors are putting a feeding tube in you, or doctors are giving you medication, you don't know any better. So she really didn't have a choice. Now, the thing is, the mom, Dee Dee, actually made money off of her daughter being sick, okay? She was getting donations from all kinds of people, and I don't mean a little $10, $20, $30 donation. She was getting thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of donations to completely support her daughter, their lifestyle, whatever they wanted to do. They eventually even got a Habitat by Humanity house, like a really nice house that was given to them for free, all because the communities where they lived at believed that there was this poor woman that was taking care of her very sick daughter, who was actually not even sick. Because of her daughter's illness, she was even able to get her daughter Gypsy Rose to meet really famous people like Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton, who not only when they met Gypsy Rose, they gave her a check for $3,500. More money, right? She also met Elijah Woods and Sean Astin from The Lord of the Rings. I mean, they were just like living this whole entire facade, so much that even celebrities knew of them and was giving of their time to meet Gypsy Rose, because they thought that this was this very poor, sick little girl that was never going to have a real life. Not only was her mother Dee Dee basically stealing money from people by accepting these donations from the public and the community, but she also had her daughter Gypsy Rose stealing. So they would go into stores and stuff, and Gypsy Rose would be in a wheelchair. She would give her daughter something in a wheelchair, and her daughter put it under her shirt or whatever. So they would go shoplifting all the time. So she was teaching her daughter to steal. And I mean, really, who's going to go into a store and ask to search a little girl in a wheelchair, right? So I mean, it's just insane. Not only was Dee Dee like mentally abusing her by doing all this, keeping her sick, teaching her to steal, not letting her live a normal life. I mean, you got to think Gypsy Rose as a little girl, because she grew up in a wheelchair that she did not need to be in, didn't get to do normal things that kids get to do. She didn't get to run around and play soccer. She didn't get to play at the playground. You know what I mean? Like, you know, ride on swings and slide down slides and go swimming in the ocean or go to pool parties or jump off of a diving board or go to a skating rink. She didn't get to do any of this stuff. Go to the local fair and ride the Ferris wheel. You know what I mean? Or, you know, go to Disney World and actually ride a ride other than just riding in a wheelchair all the time. Like, it's just so crazy to think about how this little girl lived this life. Gypsy Rose did not even know what her real age was. Her mom Dee Dee lied to her so much. Gypsy thought she was multiple different ages. And
so like I kind of wonder, like, who are these doctors that she's taking her kid to? And she's like, my doctor's sick, give her a feeding tube. Like, and doctor's like, okay, sure, no problem. Like, right? You know, my doctor has a disease, give us a wheelchair. Like, would the doctor not check and see that there's nothing wrong with her? Or, what am I missing? I don't understand. There's that, and also like to touch on the point that I made earlier about men and women enjoying a different type of story. I don't know what the punchline is here. I don't know how the story ends with Gypsy Rose and her like insane mother who's a bad person. But like the difference I think between content that men like versus what women like is like, you know, we don't dislike stories of adversity at all, like, period. We don't dislike that, or I don't dislike that at least. But we'd like to see that it's overcome and then some, right? Like, I don't know, maybe the end of this is that like Gypsy Rose will tell her mother to go fuck herself and like she'll become a motivational speaker and like now she's living a happy life somewhere with her family somewhere, right? Maybe, I don't know. But like I feel like men, we like more achievement, we like overcoming, you know, we like more, we like the challenge. We like there to be a challenge for us to overcome. I don't know, I could be wrong.
And see, what would happen was every time her mom Dee Dee would take her to the doctor, Dee Dee would tell Gypsy Rose, do not speak, do not say a single word. So the doctors would think that she couldn't talk or couldn't communicate, or that she didn't have the mental capacity to communicate how she was feeling, or, you know, if her legs really worked, or that if she could like stomach a snack or anything, because her mom would tell her, do not say anything, and her mom would go in and tell the doctors whatever she wanted them to know. And she was also, the mom Dee Dee would steal the doctor's pads from the doctor's office and then write her own prescriptions of whatever she wanted. The mom Dee Dee had Gypsy Rose on an epileptic medication. She didn't even have seizures. That rotted her teeth out at a young age. So she lost all of her teeth being on a medication that she didn't even need. I mean, how horrible is that? I remember, and this may sound super shallow of me, but years ago I used to have like nightmares that I was wake up in the middle of the night and my front teeth were missing. Now, if you lose your front teeth, it's not the end of the world, but like I don't know why I would have this nightmare. So I cannot imagine my teeth being rotted out due to something that my mother did to me. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. So Gypsy Rose had really no contact with the outside world other than the people that her mother allowed her to talk to while she was standing over her the whole time. Gypsy Rose was secluded to the little world that her mother, Dee Dee, had created for her, okay? So you guys are getting this picture if you've never heard the story before, right? Like she was not sick, she was in a wheelchair, didn't need to be in a wheelchair, she didn't eat real food, she ate through a feeding tube, and then her mom would crush up whatever kind of medication she wanted to give her and put it through her feeding tube so she could control her. I mean, this whole situation is absolutely bonkers. Well, later, in 2012, Gypsy Rose started sneaking around and getting on a computer and made like a little account on a Christian Needles dating website that she had heard from one of her neighbors that she was on. And on this dating website, she met this guy named Nick, and they started talking back and forth. And Gypsy Rose would get up in the middle of the night while her mom was asleep and talk to this guy. And you have to understand too, like, as a young girl, especially all of us who have been young girls before, you know, you're not just still a young girl, but us ladies, you know when you get that first boyfriend in like middle school or high school or whatever age you were, and it's like, you want a boyfriend so bad, and you finally get one, and it's like your first love, it's like everything, all you can do is think of them, you can't think of anything else, you're imagining being married when you're 15 years old, you know, all of these different things. So you can imagine how Gypsy Rose felt having this attention from this guy. Well, Gypsy and this guy Nick started talking, and they were talking for 2 years, okay? Now their relationship was a little risque. I can't tell you guys all the details, but if you watch the act, then you know. There was a lot of BDSM involved, and, you know, cyber intimacy, if you know what I mean. But Nick had multiple personalities, okay? He genuinely did. And the thing about Nick is also been said now to have autism and multiple personalities, one of the personalities being a 500-year-old vampire, that he really believes that he has a part of him, you know? So eventually, Gypsy Rose and Nick got tired of just talking online, and they wanted to meet each other. They wanted to be together in real life, and the mother would not allow it.
Okay. The plot thickens. All right. You know what this reminds me of is like, all right, so just talking about like, you know, you don't need to be a young girl to be able to relate to the experience of like teenage love, let's call it, right? I don't know, she sounds like she was a teenager. And what it reminds me of, like I was a really nerdy kid growing up. Not like with Glass, I was just into like fantasy, science fiction, shy, introverted, wasn't like one of the cool kids or popular kids, wasn't really like loud or anything like that. And I've mentioned before, but I used to play text-based role-playing games, which is like create a character, you pick a class, pick a race, you're like an elf wizard, whatever, and you interact with other people in the world. So this being a text-based game, you know, you would write like, you know, you would enter a command like smile, and you would see the command that says like, you know, Bob smiles or whatever. My character's name was Lee, like my main character, whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Lee smiles, right? Or Lee smiles at Jennifer, whatever. So as would be, I guess, expected in virtual worlds, much like the real world, is you form relationships with these people. And like sometimes the relationships are romantic in nature. Go figure. And so I had a few of these relationships before I had any like real world relationships with like actual girls. And I remember one of them, the first one, was with this girl. This was when like AOL Instant Messenger was still around, to give you an idea. Like I played this game on AOL first when it first came out. Oh my god. Anyway, whatever. Some of you are like, AOL, what's that? Not important. Anyway, I played it online. Like we eventually like exchanged, you know, AIM information, and we would talk on AIM, right? And we'd talk in the game, whatever. Anyway, you know, we met in real life one day, and we went on like a date. She lived in Denver, and my sister, or half-sister, also lives in Denver, or lived in Denver at the time. So I went to visit my sister, and then I ended up meeting up with this girl. I was like 15. It was like really awkward. It was like, oh my god, like I can't believe like I'm actually like here with this person. I was super awkward. I didn't know what I was doing. Nothing actually happened. You know, whatever. I was like, literally no idea what I was doing. I wish pickup was around back then. Like, I really envy people who grow up today with all the information you have at your fingertips. Like, oh my god, like how much easier would my life have been if I had grown up with Google? Like, you have a question, you don't need to like suffer in ignorance your entire life. Like, you have a question, you open your phone, and you're like, huh, what is the blah blah blah? And you just like look that shit up on your phone, and that's it, problem solved, whatever. Anyway, reminded me of that kind of. Okay, yeah. Whatever.
Okay, they tried all these different things. They had him, he lived far away, he rode a bus to their town, showed up at a movie theater that they were at. Dee Dee, the mom, flipped out. I mean, then they tried having him call Dee Dee and saying, I'm in love with you, and she flipped out. Now, at this time, Gypsy Rose is an adult, right? But she doesn't even really know that she's an adult because the mom keeps lying about her birthday, and every time she thinks she's, 18 or an adult, Dee Dee tells her, no, you're wrong, you were born in this year. So she doesn't even know anything. And I believe, although I cannot diagnose anybody, I'm not a doctor, and I've never been a doctor, I've never had any formal training, that Gypsy Rose probably had like Stockholm syndrome, where she just didn't know anything else. Like, when you're living in this world, you don't, when everything is controlled, you only know the information that your mother, your caregiver is giving you. She didn't know that she could, possibly run away, or she could, go to a, police station and tell them everything her mom's done to her, which included her mom has even one time, Gypsy Rose tried to run away, and her mom tied her to a bed for 2 weeks, okay? Yeah, that's the kind of mom Dee Dee was. Tied her to a bed for 2 weeks, while she was basically like starving there, and she was only eating what her mom was giving her to feed to. Yeah, look it up, it's crazy. So anyways, with all of this frustration looming around, Gypsy Rose and Nick come up with an idea for Nick to off her mother, Dee Dee, okay? Yes, an extreme scenario, like they could have done a million other things, but this is the plan that they had. So Nick comes over, rides a bus over to their town, sneaks in the house in the middle of the night while Dee Dee is sleeping, and goes in and stabs her many, many, many times. Gypsy Rose was in the bathroom with her hands over her ears as her mom was screaming, and then they went and cleaned up the scene. They took money that the mother Dee Dee had called a nest egg. She had a bunch of money in a bag that she had collected from people donating for her sick daughter, and they took the money and they got on a bus and they went to Nick's house in another state. They were there not too long before like the paranoia started setting in. Like, Gypsy Rose is thinking of her mom still laying in that bed, and like every time a cop comes around, like they're flipping out thinking that they know. So they were thinking of a way that her mother's body could be found and they could live happily ever after, because really that was their only plan. Nick and Gypsy Rose, their only plan was to just live this amazing life. They wanted to get married and have children, and I don't know what they were thinking, but obviously neither one of them had the mental capacity to realize that this would never work. Okay, this was in 2015 when the mother was killed. So this isn't even like it was 1970 when, they didn't have maybe DNA tests or, I don't know the exact dates, but, fingerprints or whatever. I mean, it's 2015, okay? Like, technology is far advanced. So they decided they're gonna make a Facebook post from Dee Dee, the mom's Facebook page, and they wrote this. This is a Facebook post right here. That bee is dead. People started commenting on it. They're sitting there in the computer in Nick's bedroom with his parents downstairs.
All right, I have to I have to apologize to my female viewers, or any potential female viewers who have managed to get like 19 minutes into this video or whatever it is. Like, this is actually pretty interesting. Okay, so like the plot actually thickens. Interesting. Okay, now I'm kind of interested. Now I kind of want to watch. I mean, I'm sure she's gonna ruin the movie right now anyway, but like whatever, fine. Interesting, right? This is interesting. I maybe would consider watching this. Yeah, I'd watch this now. I mean, I probably know what's gonna happen, but like, I'd watch it. It seems pretty messed up, like really messed up. But like, okay, I take back what I said basically. Is this overcoming adversity? I don't really know. Like, I guess so. But I mean, clearly, like, is that the best idea? to log into your mom's Facebook account and write a post like that? Like, that's what you come up with, right? Like, you go through all this trouble to like, okay, fine, I'm not saying like the mom was clearly a bad person, did not deserve, I don't want to say she didn't deserve to live. Is that really my call? You know, I personally don't think somebody like that, I don't know, whatever, I'm not allowed to say that on the internet, but I don't know, whatever, deserves some form of punishment or removal from society on some level, I think, in my opinion. But like, okay, you go through all this trouble to like get rid of her, and then you hide the body, I guess, somewhere, bury her or something, and then you like set up like you write a Facebook post that's basically like a beacon to everybody, like, hello, police, FBI, like, please investigate us, like, how dumb are you? Like, actually, how dumb are you? Oh, and clearly, again, like, not, you know, to be fair, Gypsy Rose does not sound like she had a chance, really, and her 500-year-old vampire boyfriend, I don't know, maybe he also wasn't thinking too clearly after he like stabbed his girlfriend's mom 100 times. Okay, let's experience more.
And they're responding. So this made the neighbors go knock on Dee Dee's door, and of course nobody answers, so the cops come. The cops come in, they find her body, then they come to Nick's house and they arrest them both, okay? Now that I've gotten the whole entire story laid out for you guys, now we're gonna talk about how I feel about everything. If you guys don't know, they were arrested and Gypsy Rose got 10 years prison and he got life. I want to start this off by saying that it was not right for them to kill Dee Dee, okay? I don't care what she's done. We should never take matters into our own hands like that. The only time something like that is even remotely okay is if you're literally fighting for your life in that moment and it is the only option in order to save your life or your children's life or something like that, right? Somebody bursts into your house and they're trying to hurt your children and, you know, there's no other way, right? They could have had so many other options that they could have done, but I truly believe that they just did not know, okay? I do. The problem is, whenever they were interrogating them, you know, Gypsy Rose, of course, was putting it all off on her boyfriend, Nick, and Nick was taking up for Gypsy Rose. If you actually watch, if you guys have not, you should look on YouTube and look at the interrogation videos and look at the interviews that they have done with not only Gypsy Rose, but especially Nick since he's been in prison. It's really sad. Like, the videos of Nick since he's been in prison, you can tell that still to this day, he's not okay. Like, he's not of a sound mind. And according to what I've seen and heard, the reason why they were able to give Nick a life sentence was because they proved him to have a sound mind. I don't get that. The interview that I saw of him, you can find it right here on YouTube. The video that I saw of him, he was talking about how, like, he had an angel on one shoulder and a demon on the other shoulder, and the angel told him, take Gypsy Rose and run, and the demon said, that bee is dead, and so that's the one he went with. Like, he's still not all there. So I don't know how he was proven to have a sound mind. I mean, he has autism. You know, and does that mean that every autistic person gets a free pass to commit murder? No, not at all. But I cannot believe that he got life in prison for this. I've seen people that intentionally do things to innocent people that have never done anything wrong to anyone, basically, get less time than him. And Dee Dee seriously abused her daughter and manipulated her whole entire life, and would still be doing it right now if she was not.
So here's the reason, or what I consider to be the reason, is that when you have an extremely high-profile case like this, right? Let's say you're the judge, right? You have to think, what's the precedent that this is going to set? Also the legal precedent, but more so the, let's call it the zeitgeist precedent. Zeitgeist is just like, let's call it the overall vibe, right? The vibe precedent, which is that if your girlfriend's mother, like, let's say he didn't get life in prison and she didn't get 10 years. Let's say they got off scot-free. Nothing happened to them, right? We'll take the other extreme. The message that this would send was that if you interpret the behavior of your girlfriend's mother to be abusive, then you are legally justified to kill her and do essentially what these people did. That's not the message that you want to send to society, right? If you're a judge, presumably you have like good intentions as a judge, and you're not like some crooked judge, whatever, right? That's you don't want to. You need to make an example of these people, essentially, right? Now, that said, like, were there other options? Absolutely. You know, this guy, I don't know, is he autistic? Whatever. Like, what does that even mean anymore, right? Like, I don't know. That's another topic entirely. But like, oh, he said there's a demon on one shoulder, an angel on another shoulder, therefore he shouldn't go to jail. Like, okay, he stabbed some lady like 100 times because his girlfriend he met on the internet said that it would be a good idea for them to do that. To be fair, totally, you know, messed up what her mom did to her. Like, you get one life, and that's how you spend the first 20 years of it, and then you got to go to jail for 10 more years. Like, wow, like, what a, like, you were robbed. You're actually robbed. Very unfair. It makes me appreciate my parents. As unfair as I thought my childhood was, don't we all? At least I wasn't taken to a doctor and lied to and said that I had a disease and forced to steal and tied to a bed. Like, oh, I got yelled at sometimes. I got grounded sometimes. Oh no, boo-hoo. Like, I'm from California. I'm American. Like, that's a gift right there. You know, sorry, third worlders, but like, I'm very happy with my, let's call it my birthright. Did they deserve life in prison? I'm not really sure, but like, unfortunately, like, let's talk ethically for a second, right? ethically was what they did justified? Let's forget about legally, right? Legally, obviously not. Legally, what they did was wrong. It was murder, blah, blah, blah. But like ethically, you know, you could make the argument that what they did was not wrong, that that's the right thing to do ethically, you know? But the problem is that if you want to have a functioning society, you can't encourage vigilante justice at all. That's why you have police. That's why we have the structure that we have. Yeah, okay, some stuff is going to slip through the cracks, but, you know, you can't have people killing their girlfriend's mothers all over the place because, you know, you just can't have that. Not everybody's going to make the right ethical choice. Again, I'm not saying that is the right ethical choice. I'm saying you could make that argument, right? If we take everything at face value.
Dead. You know, so I'm shocked by that. Now let's talk more about Gypsy Rose. I think the biggest person that failed Gypsy Rose, other than her mother, obviously, is the doctors. How did the doctors not have documentation on her? How did they not have, you know, an ID to know how old she was? I know for me, anytime that I go to like an actual MD doctor, the first thing they want you to do is sign paperwork saying that they can pull your records from the last doctors that you were at. This was 2015 when this happened, my friends. This wasn't 1950 when everything was on paper. Nowadays, everything is in a computer. According to what I've seen and heard, Dee Dee went and told all the doctors that she was, you know, in Louisiana when Hurricane Katrina hit 2005 and all the documentations were lost. No, I don't see how that happens. How can you put a feeding tube in another child? Or how can you, you know, say that this child has all of these different problems and have no real diagnosis from a doctor, just a prescription? And also, how is Dee Dee getting away with writing prescriptions to herself? If you guys don't know, hi, my name's Christina and I did 3 years in prison whenever I was 21. I was actually in prison with people who wrote one prescription for themselves, stole one piece of paper. I was also in there with nurses who stole their doctor's pads and were writing prescriptions for themselves. How was Dee Dee able to steal doctor's pads from multiple doctors and write prescriptions for herself, or even one prescription for herself? How is that possible in 2015? Like, I think the doctors failed her big time. Now, there was one doctor that really started snooping and was trying to find stuff, and she just didn't get it all taken care of in time before the big event happened. But I am shook by that right there. I can't believe it. Gypsy Rose getting 10 years. I'm surprised she got 10 years, to be honest with you. If it was me sentencing her, I would probably give her 3 years in like a mental institution. And I say 3 years because she needs help, right? When you get put into prison, there is not a lot of classes to help you mentally. So you're just going to put her in prison and then release her back to the regular world with that same mentality she's got? I mean, she's been learning to lie and manipulate.
So interesting. Good point about the prescriptions, right? Like, come on, let's be honest, everybody. Like, who hasn't considered at some point stealing your doctor's prescription pad or a doctor's prescription pad and writing yourself a prescription for whatever you wanted? Like, okay, maybe some of you, you know, golden boys and girls out there have never considered that, but like, I don't know, I thought about it, you know, not recently, obviously, like a long time ago, but whatever, thought crossed my mind. But there's a reason they call it calling in a prescription. Like, as far as I know, you take the prescription to the pharmacy and they call the doctor's office and they say, you wrote this prescription, right? We can give them the drugs. And then they say, yes, and then they give you whatever drug you were prescribed, correct? That's how it works in America. I don't take a lot of drugs, really, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works, isn't it? So that's true. I kind of wonder, like, who are these doctors? And, you know, she was not able, like, I guess this was not examined in the court case because it was not the doctors who were on trial, it was the people who committed the murders who were on trial, right? So, like, how much of a close eye do you really need to pay attention to these doctors who may or may not have misdiagnosed this person? If this girl Gypsy Rose even remembers like who they are and where they were, and why would they even go so far as to look when the point is that she colluded with this 500-year-old vampire to kill her mother? That's the point here, you know what I mean? You need to go now also like ruin some doctor's life. Like, seems to be a pretty open shut case, right? Like, you could look at it like that. In terms of like prison not having any facilities for rehabilitation, I don't know. I've never been to prison. I've watched a few prisoner ex-con videos recently, and it seems like they have things like a TV, they have like a rec room, they have some sort of freedoms there that you would not really expect, right? Like, you don't expect like there to be a TV room in prison, like, huh? And I know one of my family members is actually dating a guy in prison. Sorry to blow you up. I don't think you watch my videos, but she's dating a guy in prison, and she, you know, it's obviously like a point of contention with some people in the family. Whatever, I don't really care. Like, but she talks about how he's like getting his degree, and he's like wants to change his life, and apparently he's changing and whatever. She sees him as a good person. I don't know, whatever. But he's getting his degree is the point, right? So like, you can get a free college degree in prison. Like, I kind of want to go, like, can I go do like a 1-year sentence, just like get away from society and just study for a year? Can I do that and get a degree, and then I'll just come out with the degree? I mean, kind of useless at this point. Like, what am I going to do with a degree at this point? Like, someplace going to hire me. That's the thing that kind of sucks about like passing a certain age, right? Kind of weird that I'm saying this, but like companies are less likely to hire you for an entry-level position when you don't really have an experience for the job, as opposed to like, let's say, a new graduate, right? Like, I'm 35 years old, I don't have a degree, I have lots of work experience, sure, but I also have a track record of leaving jobs within a few months. So like, who's gonna take a chance on me, right? Is my YouTube channel so popular that I'll get hired somewhere? Maybe, probably not at this point. But then again, like, I've also chosen the sales/business route, which like nobody cares about your credentials. You could literally be like a tattooed ex-con. Not that I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but like if you can sell and you can make money without breaking the law, you will have a job as a salesperson. Anyway.
Her whole entire life for 23 years before she ended up going to prison. That's all she's done is lie and manipulate. She needs to be in an actual mental institution to learn new thinking patterns, to learn new, or maybe not even a mental institution, maybe some sort of mental rehab or something like that. I definitely do think that she should be locked up, but I think more on the basis of like to help her, because she was a victim in this situation. She was a huge victim. She got a 10-year sentence just like somebody would who was aiding and abetting in a regular murder. Somebody that wasn't abused her whole entire life and was assisting in a murder of her abuser, because that's just what it was, okay? No, she did not actually do the deed. She did plan it out. She did ask Nick to do it for her, so she is an accomplice. But 10 years is exactly what you would get pretty much otherwise. I have a friend that went to prison for 10 years because she was driving a getaway car where somebody was, murdered. So Gypsy Rose got the same exact thing as her, and that was her abuser. I don't know, like, do I think that they both deserve punishment of some sort? Yes, I do. But in America, we just want to throw them behind bars, lock them up, so we can move on to the next person like it's not our problem. They both needed help. And I also do have a little bit of concerns of like, and I know this is a sensitive subject, and I don't want to disrespect anybody, because I know that she's going to be, or I know that she's probably very upset that her son's got life in prison, but the mother of Nick, like, for somebody that has his mental capacity to be getting on a bus and traveling wherever and doing whatever alone, I just guess I don't understand. Can we know more? I would say, okay, he's autistic. Just because he's autistic does not mean he can't live a normal life. Doesn't mean he can't get married. Doesn't mean he can't take trips by himself. That is, having autism is not a, life-stopping situation. Okay, autism, I have people in my life that are autistic that are some of the most smartest, amazing people that I've ever met. But when you watch the interviews of him while he's in prison, after this situation, you can tell that his brain is still not working on the same wavelength as maybe the vast majority of society. So this whole entire situation is like a tragic, tragic case. Like, everybody's a victim in this situation, if you ask me. Everybody's a victim. So I hope that you guys like this video. Please let me know, y'all.
So I'm going to comment, first of all, and let me just take this opportunity. Like, if you've gotten this far in my video, you obviously watch all my videos and you love me and you're like a regular here, but like, let me just say that I love these ex-con YouTubers. I love them, okay? These are like, I have not watched a video of any of these ex-con YouTubers who I did not like. And I was like, oh, that was a bad video. Or like, this guy's full of shit. Like, not a single one, right? I've only watched like 4. Okay, fine. But they have substance, they have depth, they seem to have discipline, they have a good head on their shoulders. And, I don't know why. Is it from living so many of their years behind life and like questioning what they did wrong? Is it that suffering builds character? Is it that the prison system encourages discipline in people? I don't know what it is, but like every single one of these people that I've seen, they are, they seem to have like their head on their shoulders. It's a shame that they had to go through several years of removal from society in order to get like that. And I do think there is a little bit of survivorship bias in that as well. And I'll take everybody who gets out of prison as like a great person. Like, I know one guy, I wasn't friends with him in high school, but he was part of the same like crew of friends that I joined like at the end of my high school years that were like kind of, I don't want to say bad kids, but like kind of like doing some things they shouldn't be doing, right? And he was like in that crew, and he ended up going to prison for what we were told was statutory rape, right? Apparently his girlfriend was 17, he was 19, they popped him for that. That's the story. But like, when he got out, he would hang out with one of my very good friends, so I would see him a lot. And the dude was not, he was not a well-balanced individual. Like, he was not normal. Like, I don't know if it was prison that messed him up, but like, he was not like Wes Watson, right? Like motivational or anything like that. He was not like Abood. He was not like 23-1 lockdown guy. It's not like this girl. Like, he was like, he thought the government was after him. He was like super paranoid. Like, there's government, he would write on Facebook, it's like, there's government agencies that are out to get me. If you guys are reading this, it's already too late. Like not real, like imagine like delusional. He's delusional, right? Anyway, I could tell you some more messed up stories about him, but I don't want to scare my mom in case she actually watches this video. All right, I'll tell one. Well, never mind. I won't tell it. Anyway, next video, next prison YouTuber video, I'll tell it. Anyway, surprisingly entertained by Christina Randall. Oh yeah, I'm gonna leave a comment. Let's see here. I started watching this video fully prepared to hate it and also hate you, but the longer I watched, the more, let's see here, but the more of a chance I gave it, the better it got. You seem to have your head, a good head on your shoulders, which is something else I've noticed with ex-con YouTubers, for lack of a better description. Loved the vid, hoping to see more in the future. Okay, like, by the way, any of you who ever want to give a compliment, I just realized this just now as I wrote this, but like, it's always better to take away a little bit when you give, right? It's as opposed to like, this is a great video, I loved it, you're amazing, right? Like, I kind of hated this in the beginning, but actually the more I watched it, now I kind of like it, right? That's a better compliment. Anyway, thank you, told me to do this. Spotted Elephant. You guys have any more? Let me know. Peace.